right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with my man Radley De Silva. Radley, how we doing, my man?
Good, man. Good. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man, I can't complain. And with that being said, I mean, you're coming off a big win, my man. I mean, talk to us a bit more about that performance and what could maybe be next for you.
Yeah, great win, over a tough veteran in Drew. One that definitely came with some adversities outside of the fight and a little bit in the fight too. So I was happy that I got to show a little bit of my toughness. Not something I really like doing anyways. So not something I love doing is showing my toughness. That's not what I'm in the sport to do. But at the end of the day, it's good to shed some shed some light on not that I'm not just a guy with skills and talent, but I also have the grit it takes to fight at the higher level because you do need to be tough. I already know I'm tough or I wouldn't be fighting, but it's good to show some people that too. So a fight that had adversity outside the camp and inside the fight.
So let's see. So you're 7-1 now. You got another submission win under your belt. I mean, what do you kind of think this win kind of does for you in your career now?
uh Man, hopefully it does what I was thinking it would do if I got a good win, which is, get my name closer to that Dana White Contender Series spot. As I've said before, and I've been saying leading up to this fight, the last two Battlefield champions at featherweight that beat Drew both went on to fight in the UFC in some way, shape, or form. Like the last one, Mateo Vogel beat him, and went to Contender Series, and then the champ before that, Jeremy Kennedy, beat him and went straight to the UFC. So I knew that a win over him would put me like right there, but I knew that I had to do it better than the last two champions if I really wanted to, you know, put my stamp on that. And luckily, I was able to do it. I was able to do it faster than them, and I think I did it a little bit more exciting as well because it was a fun fight for sure.
Yeah. No, and speaking of fun fights, I mean, you've had a bunch of title defenses and title fights now. And with that being said, I mean, what's maybe your favorite one that you've had so far?
This is definitely my favorite one. I feel like every other one has just been like, haven't even lost a second really. It was just, just domination and then, getting a finish or whatever. But I feel like this one, it wasn't, as much as it looked like it was like, oh, he's in a submission. I mean, to me, I get put in that every day, right? But just having the experience now to work through that in a fight, I gained so much from that fight, on top of getting the win and all that, doing it better than the last two champs. I gained a wealth of experience. Like I've never been in a fight that bloody before, where it was literally a slip and slide, and I was like, it was extremely slippery. It was so much blood. I never experienced that before. I never experienced my opponent talking to me during the fight, kind of distracting me by saying something and then going for a punch after. I was a bunch of things that I never experienced. And, even him landing that punch, he landed a punch on the feet. That was probably the first time I ever got even hit, even though it wasn't like a fully flush one. Like I was kind of turning with it. I had a loose, cheap $2 mouthpiece from Sport Check or something that I had that went flying out. So I was like, just everything, it was like I gained a wealth of experience, man. It was probably the most valuable fight I've had for sure. And definitely cemented my place because this was a guy who has wins over UFC guys, guys coming right out of the UFC, and he's fought maybe like five or six different dudes that went to the UFC. So he's literally right there, and he's a world class MMA fighter at this point. He's got 50 fights combined from amateur to pro, and he's been doing it since like 2009. So just imagine the wealth of experience and the wealth of skills that you gain from all those years of training and fighting. So definitely that was my favorite one.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. I definitely makes sense for it being your favorite one. And with that being said, I mean, you mentioned you could maybe be on Dana White Contender Series in the future, but if an opportunity came up with you taking a fight short notice, would you do that?
Oh, of course. I've said even I did an interview for UFC.com. I was letting them know like I'm not looking to sit around and wait for anything. Like I'm so lucky that I'm able to compete the way I am now because I've had in between my career literally it was 8 years in between. Like I had a 6 year layoff and then had a fight and then another 2 year layoff. So like that's 8 years of my career there that went, without fighting. So I mean, I never stopped training or anything like that. And I understand that everybody's time comes at a different. Everyone has their time basically. Everyone's story is different. You can't like look at someone else's story and say like that's exactly what's going to happen for me. So I know that I'm just about to enter my prime in the next maybe like three years or so. Um, I've been training my entire life. I've taken no damage. I'm mature as a man. I've matured mentally as well. So I feel like it's really my time now to really make my mark and make history for myself. So I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting around for anything. That's the point I was trying to get to because of all the waiting I've done. So yeah, definitely, man. If I hear something from contenders or something like that, maybe I'll hold off on taking another fight so I can really prepare for the opportunity. But if not, man, if I can get another fight, before May, then that gives me plenty of time to be ready for if I get a call for contenders. I think it starts in like July or something like that. So either way, man, I'm not looking to wait around or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, the experience just benefits me, right? Every time I get in there, I experience more, I learn more, I grow as an athlete, physically and mentally. So there's no downside to me getting more experience.
Yeah, no, there's definitely no downside with that. And with that being said, I mean, with the UFC, is there any maybe UFC fighters you think you could maybe do well against now?
Man, anyone in the top 15, I understand they're like the best fighters in the world, but um, I feel like there's a lot of times where I watch fights and I feel like the IQ or the fight IQ is lacking. And that's for one area I feel like I really excel in is that's the reason why I can go into every fight I've had and come out literally unscathed with no injuries, no cuts, no anything. Is because I do the right things at the right time. I've been studying the game since I was like 9 years old, 8 years old, watching fights. I can't even put a number on how many fights I've watched, like tens of thousands and hours of watching fights and footage, and it just adds up, and it really helps with my fight IQ and just the wealth of knowledge. So I feel like I could match up well with anyone in the UFC roster at featherweight. Is there some exciting fights that I would look at? Yeah, I kind of think a fight with like Yair Rodriguez would be pretty exciting because like I feel like we got pretty similar styles on the feet. Like we're both super exciting. But I feel like I have much better fight IQ and stronger wrestling, top control, and all that. So just guys like that, Yair Rodriguez, I would like. Who else? Maybe like a Calvin Cater, a guy who's got really good boxing and stuff on the feet. But I know that if I was to get him down, I would hold him down and hopefully do some damage the way I did in my last fight and better kicks, faster, and all that stuff. Just one guy I probably wouldn't want to fight is Edson Barbosa, just because of respect. Like I just fucking respect that guy so much. I love him. I love watching him fight. Grew up watching him fight. But another guy who I grew up watching fight and I actually would want to fight is like a Max Holloway because he's just a fun scrapper, man. And I respect him to death, but like that would be a fun fight. And there's no one he wouldn't fight in the roster that wouldn't be exciting. He just makes it exciting no matter what. So that's definitely another fight that I would, maybe someday hope to look at getting.
Yeah, no, those are all fun matchups. 100%. I definitely agree with you there. And yeah, with that being said, too, I mean, for the film that you mentioned that you watch, who are maybe some of your favorite fighters that you like to watch in the UFC or maybe just in general?
Oh man, I'm a fucking pretty casual on that note. Got Charles Oliveira, Alex Pereira, like all the crazy Brazilians that are making it happen. There's some other guys I like to watch too, like anyone at the top of the sport who's made it to the top. Like I respect and I respect their skills, and I really like watching them because they show what it takes to be at the top of the sport, right? So even like a Dustin Poirier, like I don't like. I'm not like I don't like, his style is not necessarily like mine, but I respect the boxing, the wars he puts on and all that stuff. But yeah, just, super casual on that. All the crazy Brazilians making it happen. That's who I like to watch.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. They're definitely making it happen for sure. And when it comes to your training, I mean, what are maybe some of your favorite memories that you might have had in the gym?
Oh man, I'm making memories every day now, dude. Like I'm in the gym with some killers, man, like Jamie Siraj, Naveed, guys who are Achilles, guys who are literally at that world class level and can fight anyone in the world. And we're just in the gym slugging it out all the time. So uh, yeah, definitely lucky to have a team like that, man, because it gives me the confidence in the world. I expect my opponents to be better than my training partners in all the areas. And if they're not, then it's definitely going to be a problem for them. So definitely, yeah, making memories with my teammates every day in the gym, man, and super grateful for it.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. That definitely makes sense. And you have that copware background as well. I mean, talk to us a bit more about kind of how that's kind of helped your game.
Oh man, capoeira is like it's like the predated version of MMA just because it's so many things go into it. Like how MMA you have to do boxing, wrestling, you have to learn a bunch of things at once. Capoeira is the same way, you know what I mean? You got to learn kicking, flipping, singing, dancing, freaking instruments. There's so much that encompasses it that it's like you got to learn it all at once, and it may be overwhelming to some people, but that prepared me for MMA, having to learn so many different disciplines at once. And it definitely is one of the best bases of best martial art bases before actually doing like the wrestling, jiu-jitsu and all that stuff, because you learned how to control your body like to the maximum, right? You learned all the kicks, the flexibility, the dexterity in the legs, the explosiveness, all that stuff. So I feel like maybe I wasn't born naturally with as much explosiveness as people might see, but because I've been doing capoeira for so long, I developed that explosiveness, which I think makes me a really good fighter because I have that slow twitch muscle, like endurance cardio type style, but I'm also very explosive and dynamic, and I learned that through capoeira. But like I think naturally I'm more of a long distance athlete. Like if you see how I wrestle and I can do it for 25 minutes straight. And that's just super comfortable to me. It's very natural to me to just be able to just go for long periods of time. But I think I developed the dynamicness and explosiveness through capoeira. So yeah, man, it's just one of the best bases you can have. When I started wrestling, when I started jujitsu and all that stuff, after doing years and years of capoeira, all that stuff came super easy to me because of all the body control I learned through capoeira. So definitely, it's the most important base for me was having that capoeira background.
Yeah, no, it definitely seems like an awesome base for sure. And speaking more about that, I mean, you had a pretty sweet spinning wheel kick knockout that went viral. I mean, talk to us a bit more about going viral, and was that kick in the plans? I mean, talk to us more about that too.
No, that kick wasn't in the plans, dude. I don't throw that stuff to my training partners at all. So that was more of a in the moment type thing for sure. And yeah, it's good to finally get one in the books, notch a viral knockout because my cousin Lalu, I don't know if you know him. He's a capoeirista. He's like one of the best in the world, but he's also an MMA fighter, and he's been fighting MMA like since I was a kid. And watching him grow up, he has a ton of viral knockouts. Like if you look up him up on YouTube, like his knockouts have like 10, 20 million views throughout social media, and he's been doing it for years. And like it's almost like every fight he has, he'll get like a viral knockout. Like even like a year ago or so, he fought in Japan. He was like on ESPN, and all the big MMA publications were like slamming someone outside of the cage. So he goes viral every time. And then when people hear I'm fighting, they expect me to go viral. And I don't have the same style, but I'm capable of it, definitely. So it's good to finally get one out because that's all people do is ask me like, when are you gonna get a crazy knockout? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, don't worry, it's coming. Don't don't do this to my opponent because what is good for me is not gonna be great for them. So yeah, it was good to get one finally. And but I said right after I said, I'm like, don't expect a freaking wheel kick knockout every time, guys. Come on, like, if it comes, it comes, But I'm not the type of guy like I said, I take pride in my fight IQ, and I'm never out there chasing those kind of moments against the top world class guys in the world. Because the most important thing is to get the win. And I know if I perform to my ability, I'll have an exciting fight, and I'll get a finish at the end of the day. So I don't need to be chasing that stuff. And when it comes, it comes. Like I said, I don't throw that at my training partners. I don't practice that too much, but it's a natural thing for me to find those things. So yeah, it was good. It was a good thing.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That definitely makes sense. And with that being said, too, outside the cage, you mentioned in another interview you like to do like you go on like video game sets, movie sets, and do like a little bit of modeling. I mean, talk to us a little bit more about that. Do you still do that as well?
Yeah, man, I'm super blessed to even have that opportunity because it gives me the freedom to be able to train when I want. It being such a part-time thing, right? So I work a few times a month, and then I get to focus the rest of my time on fighting and training, and it goes very hand in hand because, excuse me, I have to be in shape for that stuff. I have to be, top physical shape, and have my skills have to be on point. So it goes hand in hand with being a fighter. I stay in shape throughout the year, and it works out perfectly. And I get to do some cool stuff. Have some great memories, and be able to support myself while I'm fighting. So it's couldn't ask for a better profession to do.
Yeah, no. When it comes to that, I mean, what was maybe one of your favorite movie sets or video game sets that you appeared on?
My favorite continues to be the UFC game. I've been working with them for years, and it's just something that I was made for it. I act, and then I'm a professional fighter and all that stuff. So it's literally the best of both worlds, to get in there and be able to act and fight at the same time, and get to play some of my favorite fighters, and then hopefully one day I'll get to do my own I'll get to do my own character on the UFC game. So yeah, it's been a blessing because it's like as a kid, you play video games, you're growing up, you're like, man, imagine that was me on there one day, and now I get to actually like play myself, and like like I know like, oh, I did that, or like I can actually hear my voice in the video game, or like when I create a character, I can hear my voice and see me doing all the actions. So it's like it is me, that like literally is me in the game there. So it's like, it's every kid's dream come true.
So you're in like the UFC video games? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. If you create a character on the career mode, you get to choose like a voice. Like I'm voice number one, and then all the body motions and the acting as the created character, that's me as well. So you can literally
Wow.
have my voice and have my body actions in the career mode. So it's like it's literally me. Like no other way to
That's
put it.
insane. So how long have you been doing that for the UFC? This been a while or yeah.
I think since the end, I think it's the end of UFC 4 and going and all of UFC 5, and yeah, continuing on with them, and it's been a blessing, man.
That's super cool. So what's that kind of like when you do like the video game shoots? Like they have to like hook you up with a bunch of different stuff. I've tried to watch videos with it. I'm not really too sure what it kind of goes down.
Yeah, it's my motion capture where they like put a suit on you and they capture your body movements and stuff like that. Basically, that's what they have me in there because, like, that's what I do first. And also I'm a specialist with my body in a sense that I've been doing capoeira my whole life, so I can not only mimic fighters, but I can mimic like their dance moves, their celebrations well, and like everything like that because I have really good body control. So yeah, I can do all the fight stuff that they do, but I can also do all the wacky stuff and like their personalities and stuff like that through my body movements.
That's so cool. So do you ever do like the celebrations and stuff for those certain fighters and stuff too in the game? Is that what you're saying too?
Yeah, yeah, some
That's awesome.
celebrations for sure, for sure.
Wow. So
All of
so
it,
like
yeah, everything.
yeah, so how long does it take you to kind of memorize it and practice it and all that?
On the spot, man. You got to be ready. You got to be ready
Wow.
to do your job. Yeah, you got to be a specialist. They only hire the best people available to them. So if you're not good at your job, you wouldn't be there. So yeah, I gotta. That it plays out great for fighting because if a training partner ever needs me to mimic one of their opponents, like I'm right on it. Like I can tap into their opponent pretty quickly. So it works out perfectly.
That's super cool. I didn't even think about that as well too when it comes to training. And outside of fighting, I just mentioned this, which is super cool. But I mean, besides all that, what else do you like to do?
Man, I like to eat, dude.
There you
I'm a
go.
big food guy. Like all I do is watch food videos and eat. But I used to play a lot of video games, but like ever since I've been so focused on my goal of making it to the UFC, everything is kind of just like fell to the side really. I used to play a lot of sports. I still like doing fun stuff like going snowboarding, going like biking. I still like extreme things, but I try to do a lot less now because I'm just more focused on really getting there. And it's crazy like how things just fall to the side completely, even without me wanting to. Like I'm just so focused on getting there. Like my friend circle is like just people basically in the gym, and I'm only like focused on training. It's fun to say, but especially with a daughter now, like all I can do is work, train, rest, and do it again, get ready for a fight. And it's a disciplined life, but I wouldn't want it any other way. And especially when you're chasing something as hard to do as, get into the UFC, not many people do it, right? So looking to do something special, and you gotta sacrifice to get there.
Yeah, no, you definitely do, man. And speaking about that, is I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I've been teaching a lot of guys at my gym. What advice would you give to these guys at my gym to keep on coming in to get better and better every class?
You have to have a goal, right? Like you have to like if you're it's like setting sail without a destination sometimes. It's easy to get swept up by the wind and whatever, right? So you might get distracted in something else. But if you have a clear goal in mind, it makes it that much easier to, like hone in and focus on what you're doing. Cause yeah, I would definitely say set yourself a goal. That's like the most important thing when you're taking any endeavor, right? So um yeah, have a clear goal and just chase for it, man. You don't want to, it's some people just go into stuff and they're like, oh, I'll just try it, whatever. And most of the time those people end up doing something else or whatever the case is, right? So that's probably my one advice I'll give them, because a lot of the time for me, like when that feels rough and some people would quit and pull out, like that one like shining light, which is the goal that I had set for myself, kind of keeps me on track. So
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense for sure. And speaking of messages, I mean, what's maybe your final message out there for the fans watching this video?
yeah, I appreciate all the support I get from the fans. Each fight I'm getting more and more fans, and I try to message back everyone I can, because it's every little bit of support helps, every fan helps to get my name out there. So appreciate everybody always showing me all the love and support on Instagram, sending me messages, and yeah, let's take it all the way, man. Let's take it all the way for Canada. Let's get there.
Yeah, no, for sure, my man. And yeah, with that being said, I mean, I'm very glad I have you on the show, and MMA prospects as well too. I asked them who are some good prospects to have on my show, and you were the number one guy that I had. I already had your book, but it was like I said, I was like, oh, I already have him booked, but it was awesome to see that he had you number one as well too. And yeah, best of luck with your fighting career, my man, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's next with you.
Thank you, brother. Thanks so much for having me on, man. Let's chat soon again.